Hey, what's up, everybody? Mark here from Home Slots, and we're going to do the live Q&A tonight on this channel. Brantley wasn't able to make it on the Cowboy Slots channel, but we didn't want to leave you guys hanging, so figured I'd go ahead and throw it up on my channel and see if we get some questions tonight. I hope everybody's doing well. Let's do some shout-outs here. Gamble Globes here. Kimmer001, what's up? Tammy, of course, is here. My two moderators, Tammy and Gamble Globe, thank you so much. And Susan's here. Hey, Susan. Let's see, who else we got in here? Club Mike. Hey, Mike. How's it going, man? And looks like that's it so far. If I missed you, say hi, and I'll make sure to get you in here. Kevin's new slot channel, he's in here, and so is Cade Lehyman. He was actually here very early, so way to go for that. So very good. So welcome, everybody. Hope everybody's having a great week. We will have our regular scheduled show probably on Sunday and at the usual time, but for now we're just going to do it over here and just have a little chat tonight. And if you have any questions for me, just make sure you ask now, and I will go through and start answering them. So let me kind of give you an update on just my channel, since we don't have Brantley here tonight. I'll give you a little bit update. So I did get 2 new machines in. You've already seen, if you've watched the last video that I posted, you'll see it, the Ringmaster here right over my shoulder. Very unique game. I've never seen it before. I was able to get a hold of it. I knew it existed. And there's 2 different versions of it. There's the 3-reel version that I have, and then there was a 5-reel version. The 5-reel version is a little bit more common. So this is a pretty rare machine. I'll probably never run across it again. So for that reason, it is my investment. It's staying here. And then I did get another machine, but unfortunately, it arrived not functioning. Now, it arrived before it shipped. It was completely functional. Totally trust the guy that sold it to me. He's a real nice guy. He's another Barcrest collector. He showed me videos and photos and everything of it working. But as soon as it arrived, it starts giving a bonus display error, which means the top box can't fully light up. And so I've been really struggling with doing everything, running, replacing power supplies, as well as, and I did a video on this that'll be coming soon once I actually get resolution to it. But I replaced the power supply. I did ran new cabling. I tested all of the power Molex to the top LED board and the wheel. Oh, there's a clue. I accidentally said it. A little clue there. And that didn't work. Everything is getting power. There's just something going on. So anyway, I got a clear chip in because this takes a special clear chip. And the clear worked, except on the boot, it gives me a mismatch type error. So I'm like, oh, that is weird. So I don't know if you're going to be able to see this, but I lifted the board off of the main CPU board, and inside of there is a bent pin. It's so hard to see it on camera. I didn't even see it until I, shoot a flashlight inside of it and looked really closely. There is a bent pin. And guys, with slot machines, something as small as that can cause just a mess with the machine itself. And so that is the problem. I am not good enough to get in there and try to straighten it back out, and I don't have the right tools. So I reached out to my board guy that does board repairs, and he said that he'll take care of it for me, and he'll even replace the pin. So that new machine is going to have to wait before I reveal and show what it is. But it'll be worth the wait, believe me. It's a nice machine. So anyway, let's start looking into some questions. I know that's why you guys are here. So make sure you ask me any questions that you want to know about slot machines, technical or not, doesn't matter. Casino operations, anything like that. Happy to help. And while we're on the topic, before I get into questions, I wanted to tell you that Brantley and I are working on some very, very amazing videos. We can't really say what they are yet, but it'll be another industry first on YouTube. We've been able to get some pretty good access to some employees and stuff and inside of the casino operations in Las Vegas. And we're trying to work on putting together some interviews and such. And it looks like it's going to go forward, at least what it looks like right now. And so we're super excited about that, to get you guys words, answers straight from the mouth of the people that work there, active employees. So we're very excited about that. All right. Let's go through and ask some questions here, and let's see what we got. And Gamble Globe says, when are you getting a stinking rich machine? Never. I do have that on the G23 here, and I've played it, and it's pretty boring. The new one, I would say, I'm sure you guys have seen it on Cowboy Slots. We did a review of it. I actually really like the gameplay of it. It's a lot more exciting than the old one. but it's another one of those highly volatile games that is very hard to win on. And we ran 100. I mean, betting $2.50 and $100 was gone within 10 minutes, and we didn't get but one bonus, and that didn't even pay very well. I think the biggest win was $11 on a $2.50 bet. Not very good. So I wouldn't recommend that one. I think it's one of those that maybe throw $100 in like we did and see if you get the bonus. If not, probably time to leave. So no, I will not be getting that machine in. That's for sure. And let's see. And Game of the Globe has another question. So at G2E, did you see any new parts for upgrade? So not for upgrade, but I did run into Patriot Gaming. Shout out to them. I have bought parts from them in the past, but I actually met with them in person and said, look, I need a lot more than what you have on your website. Do you actually have more parts available that you don't have listed on your website? And they said they actually only have about 50% of the parts they have listed on the website. So I'm like, yes. And they can do glass reprinting. They can do strips reprinting. They have a partnership with Sunkist who does all of that. And so that's very exciting for me. I'll be able to get some, new top dollar glass and things like that when I need it. Now, it'll probably be expensive, but at least it's possible. And that's it's nice to have that kind of context. So I did run into them, and I got their contact information in case I'm looking for any of those really specialized, hard to find parts. So that should be fun. And let's see what else we got here. All right. And EMZ says, internally, what is the logic that triggers the bonus on top dollar and pinball? So it's just like another real stop. It's like it landing on a triple bar or a 7 or a cherry or anything like that. It's just another stop. And by the way, I'm working on a brand new video about how a slot machine works. It's going to be going out on Cowboy Slots channel probably in the next couple of weeks. That is going to really break this down in a very easy to understand way about how top dollar, I'm going to use top dollar as the example, but it also has a base game of double diamond, and I'm going to explain exactly how the random number generator works, how it picks from the reels and all that kind of stuff. So it's basically it's a stop on the reel, but there's a virtual stop that is being fed from the random number generator. But I'll get into details about it, so it's really easy to understand. I'm just trying to lay it all out right now. So, all right, good question. And Georgian says, I looked forever to find your channel again. Well, I'm glad you made your way back here. I take it you were probably an old follower, so welcome back. Glad to have you for sure. And Kevin Deal says, G23 advice. What do I look for in buying a G23? MPU, show BIOS, what is an SMLD? Thanks. So all good questions. Most dealers nowadays will sell you a G23 with the show chip. The show chip basically allows you to you play any game that you want. Now you should still have the license to play that game. I'm not telling you to pirate any games or anything like that, but that allows you to at least play the game without the license. But you need to own the license before you do that. We got to stay on the straight and narrow here. For the MPU, there's only one MPU that comes with the G23. Well, actually, no, I take that back. The MPU is the same, but the brain box isn't. You want to try to get what you don't want is an AVP 3.0 brain box. Those are probably not going to come in the G23. What you probably want is a 660 CPU brain box. That's what I would recommend because those typically come with the video card and extra RAM memory, and that's really important, especially for some of those games that really struggle with graphics. A perfect example is the Red Hot Respin. There's a lot of flames and stuff going on, and if you don't have that you don't have that video card, it's going to really drag and not look very good. So look for a 660 brain box if you can. That should have what you need. And then you can definitely get one with an MLD or one without an MLD. And what the MLD is, multi-layer display is what it stands for. And that's the 3D. The one I have is 3-dimensional. It's always hard to see on camera, but it looks really good in person. Plus, also, if you get the MLD, it's opening yourself up to a lot more games than you have with just the standard screen. So definitely look for the MLD. It is not easy to convert. So if you do get a standard one and you want to later on upgrade it to the MLD, you need basically an entire door, this door right here, needs to be replaced because it's all different. So buy it first with the MLD monitor. Definitely what I recommend. So Georgian said, what's that slot behind you? This is Ringmaster. Go check out the last video that I posted yesterday, I believe, and you'll get to see the reveal of that and some gameplay. Very rare Barcrest game. So excited to see that one. All right, what we got here? Hey, shout out to Jay. What's up, man? Hope you're doing well. Hope you're still killing it at Bellagio and Wynn like you usually do. And Kimmer001 says, hey, Mark, what's your opinion on Light and Wonder? I see they have a new Frank Sinatra slot. Have you seen it? I haven't seen it. Here's the thing about Light and Wonder. They have gobbled up a lot of the other slot companies because it's really hard to compete against IGT. IGT is so large and has a lot of muscle behind it. So Light and Wonder used to be Scientific Games, which used to be WMS, and they've all kind of ended up with Light and Wonder. That was probably the first booth that we walked through while we were there. They had some interesting stuff, but again, I like the classic real games, and they really didn't have that many there to show off. They had a new Willy Wonka coming out, which looked pretty good, but even the bonus on that, and we could trigger the bonus ourselves, it was pretty bad. So another high volatile game, that's where the industry's going, unfortunately. But I did not see the Frank Sinatra. No, actually I did. And I do have a small clip of it. Now I remember, I believe it has a wheel on the top. And we triggered their wheel bonus, and it looked okay. There wasn't a whole lot of stops on the wheel. If you're a Frank Sinatra fan, you'll definitely love it. There's a lot of his videos of singing and stuff in there. So it was interesting. I do remember that now. Yeah. All right, let's see. And Bullion Bear, what's up, man? Just bought 2 Tito's for my home machines. Those are the ticket in, ticket out little modules. Do I need to purchase Clear Keys 2, S2000, and Game King? Yes. You may be able to get away with just a key chip, but I always typically do a clear and a key anyway. But unfortunately, you can't enable that without doing that first. You're going to have to do a key. Because there are settings in the key chip config that need to be enabled in order to enable those Tito's. So, yeah, unfortunately, you're going to have to do that. All right. Cade says, what's a nice, inexpensive used slot machine I could get for Christmas? Boy, it's getting to, I used to recommend S2000s, which are basically those common that look like this top dollar over here, but are just simple games like Double Diamond or, triple sevens, things like that. But those are hard to find now too, and even those are pushing around $1,000 plus the cost to ship it to you. Check out Slot Machines Unlimited. They usually have quite a bit of those in stock, but you could probably expect to pay around $1,000 for those. Plus shipping is around $300. It really depends on how far away you are from them, which they're located in Ohio. But also make sure that your state allows you to own a slot machine. Otherwise, they're not going to be able to ship it there. So just keep that in mind. But if you want to be adventurous and you watch my channel a lot, and you want to try to get one that is not from a vendor or anybody that can provide support or warranty, check out Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace. Those are good places to find cheaper machines. Just be ready to need to work on them. And be ready to invest some time in teaching yourself on how to do it. Because it'll be one of those things that you'll probably have to end up with. And I try to put as much as I can on the channel to try to help everybody with the common issues. But, that's definitely it. All right, G2E question from Game of the Globe. Do you see a way to change the outlook of vendors so they understand how channels can help them? IGT certainly understands this. In fact, we got a very nice email from them after the event saying that they are fully committed to social media this year. They're trying to push more into it. They have had a YouTube channel for a long time, but not many people know about it, where they showcase the new games coming out and things like that. And so I think everybody's going to follow IGT's lead eventually. Some of the vendors were and Gamble Globe knows this too, were not friendly to YouTube people. They didn't want them there, and that's a shame. They're missing out on free marketing They're missing out on people being able to see the new games that are coming out, and that's on them. You know, they're going to realize it, but it's going to be too late for them. So IGT is going to be leading the way when it comes to how channels can help them grow and get the exposure out of their new games. So IGT has it all figured out. And Georgian, I hope you finally have your answer. I saw you asked about 10 times. Sorry, I have to keep up with chat, and I'm about 10 minutes behind right now. So, all right. So let's see. Hey, Peggy, how's it going? Good to see you. And Wise Virgin Slot Tips Guru says, what's a good machine to start repairing for a first-time repair? Myself, 45 years computers. So you're gonna fall into this very easily. If you've done computer repairs, this is going to be very easy for you. I would start with an S2000 machine for two reasons. One, there are plenty of parts out there. The parts are very easy to find on that platform. Everything that you could possibly ever need, from CPUs to lights to cables to printers to everything, is much easier to find on that platform. So go with one that has a lot of parts, and that's definitely one. So good luck. I wish you absolute best with that. Welcome to the I don't know what you want to call it, hobby, I guess. I don't know if it's a gift or a curse until you get into it, but best of luck. All right, Atlantic City Traveler says, why do you say that the RTP doesn't matter in casinos when gamblers are going to broke and not playing these new machines that are set to low 80s or even lower? Well, how do you know that they're set to 80s or even lower unless you physically see it on the machine? That's not something that any casino reveals. Now, they do, depending on the jurisdiction and where you're located, they do reveal the return to player statistics, which is what the actual result was of paying back to players over a certain period of time. But that's not what the machines are actually set to. So you're probably referencing the video I made with Cowboy about a month ago about how I told you not to get all caught up in payback percentage. And the importance of that video wasn't about the sample size or how many spins or anything I did. It's just that you're not going to be able to tell in the short term what the payback percentage is set on a specific machine. It's a long-term play. There's going to be swings up and down depending on the type of game that you're playing. There's no way to predict when those swings are going to hit, and it's all about luck. You're just hitting that button at the right point and stopping that random number generator. And I'm going to have a video explaining all of this from start to scratch so you guys can see it. But for example, in Las Vegas, most all casinos have their payback percentages. The return to players are anywhere from 85% on the low up to 98% on the high, depending on the denomination you're playing. So to get something really low, like in the low 80s, you probably are going to end up in some locations like New Mexico, where I know I was in an Albuquerque casino for a work event a couple months ago, and I walked around and I saw that the machines all had little stickers on them that said machines are set to at least 80% payback percentage. And so that kind of gives you a clue that they could all be set to 80. So it is pretty low. But again, it's a long-term play. Like, you may not notice that 80% right away. It's going to take a very long time before you notice. So don't get caught up in payback percentages. There's a lot more important things to do. All right. And Peggy says, so how hard is it to fix a card reader in a machine? Half the machines at Golden Nugget and Biloxi don't work. When I'm betting $3 to $15 to spin, I want the points. Yeah, I don't blame you. You got to use your player's card. It really depends on what system they're using. And one of the interesting facts is that the actual card reader machines are owned by the casino. The manufacturers do not supply those. And a perfect example, if you've seen my videos, just about every one of them, the card reader is removed, and there's either a blank plate or there's a hole in there, because they take them out before they get rid of the machines, because it's their property. They go to different vendors, and there are plenty of them at G2E that provide player tracking systems, and they settle on one and they buy it from them. So a lot of them are old, they're outdated technology, that type of stuff. But it's one of those things that you just got to complain, and they'll go in there and they'll tell you, oh, wipe it on your clothes first before you're putting it in. That makes no difference. It's just that their card reader, the magnetic reader, is starting to go bad, and I think eventually they may switch to like RFID, like where you can just touch it and things like that. So there'll be some advancements coming forward. But yeah, you wouldn't want to sit down and play a machine that doesn't allow you to insert your card. If it's the only machine there and it's the one you really want to play, I would tell somebody about it and see if they'll come. So, good question. All right, Bullion Bear. With machine parts getting scarce, which parts would you recommend stocking up for home machines? Bill validators, hands down. Bill validators, cash boxes. Those are the two things that, just here's a perfect example. I used to be able to get cash boxes for around $10 a piece. If I can find them now, they're anywhere from $50 to $90 each. They're going up. And bill validators are even worse because MEI, which is the one that makes the yellow one, it's called a MEI cash flow. They discontinued that last year. And so there's not any more available. So what's out there is what's left, and the casinos are gobbling them up. Funny story, when I was actually at the IGT booth and I was talking to one of the guys that worked there, and I told him what I do. I, collect their old machines and repair them and restore them. And he said, "Hey, do you have any MEI bill validators for me? I need about 1,000." So even they're struggling with those. So those are the two things to keep a hold of for sure. And that's the problem. Like, think about anything else. When things get scarce, the reason things get scarce is because they're not being produced anymore. And once people, before it becomes scarce, it's just flooded the market and people get them. And then when they become this, when it's like it is now, where everything's starting to get scarce, people start to hoard the parts, and that's why you can't find them anywhere. So it's just kind of the ebb and flow of how that works. And so I have a storage shed just filled with parts and wires and cables and bill validators and cash boxes because, I got to keep those. I want these machines to keep running. And in fact, I made a decision that any new machines that I get in and turn around and resell, I'm going to set them to free play only, which means that they will not have ticket printers and they will not have bill validators or cash boxes or anything in them. They can still be played very easily for home use. But if anybody wants the full experience with the cash in and ticket in, ticket out, I'm going to have to charge a premium for them because those parts, they're just hard to find. And unfortunately, I can't just keep giving those away with machines. So good question. And what's up to the stars? Hey, Mark, hope you having a great evening. I am. Thank you very much. It's been a very busy day, but I'm glad to be able to wrap it up with you guys. Absolutely. All right. Michael H says, I'm looking for an old game I played 20 years ago. I think it was Winning Streak, maybe by Williams. Where can I find it? Winning Streak. You know what? Let me do a quick Google search to see what that one looks like. It sounds familiar. Let's see. Yes. Oh, yes. I do remember this one. And unfortunately, you are never going to find this one again. If it is, it's probably in some storage locker somewhere. This is definitely an older one. I did remember seeing this once a long time ago. It was a real fun game. So unfortunately, that's going to be tough. The only thing I could think to do is just keep searching Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace, OfferUp, those type of places. You never know. People are opening up their garages and storage sheds and finding these things, and you might just find the needle in the haystack if you go and look for it. So it's kind of difficult. All right, let's see. Oh, good. Thank you, Mike, very much. So Light and Wonder owns WMS, Bally was the other one I forgot. Barcrest and Shufflemaster. Yep. And I think Scientific Games is part of that, but they just bought Scientific Games out and changed the name to Light and Wonder. I don't really know specifically, but they did gobble up a lot of people. So I knew I'd get this question eventually. Where can I find a Wheel of Fortune machine? You're not going to. These are very, very hard to come by, and it's very illegal to own Wheel of Fortune machines, regardless of if your state allows it or not. These are machines that are very restricted because they're licensed, Casinos never owned Wheel of Fortune. IGT owned them, and Sony Pictures owned them. And so if they are out on the market, they shouldn't be. And I would never, even if I had someone offer to buy one that I could buy one, I wouldn't get one. I just don't want to touch it. Don't want to touch it. So, all right, let's see. And Kay says, yes, I'm also in Texas. Good for you. It's wide open. So shoot me an email. I might be able to find you something for cheap. If you're in Texas, you can come get it. homeslotsfun@gmail.com. Let's see. There, I'll put it up real quick. Yeah, shoot me an email. So, oh, I see. North Dallas Fort Worth. Okay, so you're just a couple hours away from me, so not a problem. Kevin says, "Go IGT." Yes, I love IGT. I've always liked their machines, but the company culture is so good and so fresh, and that's a big deal. That's a big deal in this industry. Like, they fully understand and watch YouTube. They found Cowboy Slots channel. They're aware of my channel as well. We talked for a long time about it. They are very active with that, and I guess they have a new marketing strategy coming up this year to really involve slot channels specifically, but also just social media in general, because it's kind of an old market. If I kind of compare slot machine manufacturers to the auto industry, where it's kind of always been shrouded in mystery and they're not really active with the community themselves. They've always been just active to the casino operators that buy the machines, but they've understood that their real customer of slot machines is not the casinos, it's the players. Those are the people that determine what machines get bought and played, and they're starting to realize that, and that's great. That gives you guys a voice to not play a game because you can't win on it. They'll stop making that game. They'll pull it from the floor and they'll put something else in. So that's good. I'm glad to see it, and I'm glad to see IGT. Ainsworth is the other one that's really ahead of its time too. They're pushing forward very heavily on interaction with the people themselves, and that's great. I think that's absolutely great. All right, let's see. EG laughs a lot. How's it going, man? Let's see. 2 Dragon cash machines next to each other. Are we talking about Dragon machines here? Because that's not right? I'll keep reading your question. 2 Dragon Cash next to each other, a different grand prize, so not linked. With a $10 bet, one has $12.50 minimum. The other $25. Would you expect any difference in odds since it costs 2 more to play? Are they the same denomination? If so, let me read this again to make sure I'm understanding. So with a $10 bet, one has a $12.50 minimum. The other $25. Yeah, I'm not really understanding what if it's 2 different denominations, then yes, you should play the higher denomination, but don't expect anything big to happen. Your odds are basically the same on each denomination, but you should always definitely sit down and play the one that has the higher of the progressives if they're not linked. Not because your odds are better, but because if you are going to get the progressive, you want to get the one that has the highest amount. That's just, common sense. That's what you want to get, right? So don't play the one. I see that all the time. I see people, a bank of machines. The famous one is that I did the video on progressives for Cowboy Slots channel a couple months ago, probably about 3 months ago now. And I went downstairs and there's a bank of 10 times bonus pay machines. There's like 4 of them or 3 of them, and they all have a different progressive. And 2 of them were around 10,000 and 12,000, but one was at 78,000, much bigger. And I saw people go down and sit at the one that was at the 10,000 that just reset. Why would you want to play that one? You want to play the one that has the 72,000. Your odds are the same as hitting it. You want it to 70. You're going to be so mad if you hit the one on 10,000. So just look out for those kind of things. All right. And Mike's got a good point. He's our video poker guy, and glad to know IGT is friendly to content creators, especially since they hold the market for video poker. Absolutely. And they have some new video poker machines coming out that looked, I don't know if they were great. I think they're trying to like do more of combining video poker with a slot machine theme. I don't know how well it will do. It looked interesting, but I played it a little bit and wasn't really too excited about it, so we didn't do a video or anything on it. But it could be something that they're just testing, testing the waters to see if people have interest in it. All right. Oh, good. Kevin says starting repairing slot machine to the Bally 5500. Yeah. Yep, I remember the Bally 5500s. I have a Bally 9000 in storage here. I'm not a huge fan of that one, but Bally's a good place to start. And Jones Dillon 874 says, "Greetings, Mark. Top Dollar is a good game to try. I got 100 on a game on a classic slot app today." Yeah, I saw you in Discord today. Very nice. I like how all those slot apps are now starting to do different variations of Top Dollar. They didn't for a long time, but now they are. Isn't that interesting? All right, so this actually just reminded me of a story. So Gamble Globe says, "I put my card into a machine at Bally's and there was gum on it when it came out. People have no respect for the rules." So it's always interesting when I get these machines in because they come straight from the casinos. I mean, through the dealer, but the dealer never opens them or anything. And then I get them, and I find all kinds of stuff in there. I've found tweezers. I've found Players Club cards for different people. I've found coins. I don't even know how some of that stuff gets in there, but it does. And it's pretty funny. What I've found papers. I've found. Trying to think what the wildest thing I found in there. I can't really think off the top of my head. Lots of players cards, and I keep all those. So if you're missing your players card, I might have it. Oh man. All right, let's see what we got. So GB Commander Fox, what's up? So I'm looking into getting my own slot machine. What do you rank to use as a stand? Not particle board. Do not go to Walmart and buy a nightstand and expect to use that. These things are heavy, 250 pounds at the minimum. Some go even higher than that. This Lord of the Rings is around 500 pounds. That's why I put that up there, and it hasn't moved since. And definitely get solid wood or metal. My buddy Rick James, I don't think he's here tonight, but he actually had a really great idea. It doesn't look great, but it's very functional. Go to Lowe's or Home Depot and get a water heater stand because those can withstand up to 800 pounds, I believe, and they're only about 50 or 60 bucks. Hey, great slot stand until you can find one that somebody's willing to buy or to build for you. Now, here's the catch, and this is what bugs me the most. I have all mine are solid wood. I had my neighbor build them for me. And the reason I went with wood is that some of the machines, the power cable does not come out the back. It comes out the bottom. And the way casinos set these things up, the slot machines in the casinos, is that the power is all run underneath and they bolt them. So all of the machines are bolted to the stand. Not like anybody could take it out of there anyway. They're all heavy. But because of that, there's holes in the bottom of where all the power and the cabling runs, like the networking cable and all that stuff. And so some of them you have to actually drill in the top and fit. When you put it on the stand, you have to feed the cable through it. So that might be a problem if you have a metal stand. Just keep that in mind. All right. And Gamble Glove says, "Mark gonna retire with his hoard of parts." You got that right. I'm taking them to my grave. I'll bury them with me. So if you need a cache validator, dig me up. You'll find them in there. All right, you go girl 90. What's up? Thanks for coming in. So hello. I know it's random, but after how many bets of not winning anything can you tell you're on a losing machine balancing out? So this will be covered in a video I'm doing soon, but there's no such thing as balancing out. I know that it's been said before, and we've tried to correct it. It's one of those things that it's like it's very difficult to understand because the machine does balance, but it balances over a very long period of time. And so because you're on a losing streak doesn't mean that anything's due or it's going to turn around or the machine is taking all the money because people were just hitting hand pay after hand pay the night before. And so it's got to make all that back. That is just not how slot machines work. That's not how they're programmed. That's not how the RNG works. Every single event is a separate event. It doesn't have any historical data or future data as to what's coming. And so if you're on a losing machine, I say that with quotes because you're not really on a losing machine. You're just not having the right timing. And there's nothing you can do to manipulate it. You can't say, wait 5 seconds and then press it again or take your money out and put it back in, that kind of thing. If you're not winning on the machine and that means you're not having fun, cash out and go to another machine. Maybe come back to it later. But it doesn't, it's not one of those things where it's due or it's coming or anything like that. So try not to get caught up in that because you'll drive yourself crazy. It's not something that you can predict. And slot machines are built that way. They're not. They would never build a slot machine to be manipulated by the public, and they don't need to be. It's just not something that exists. And I will disclose all of that very soon and give a very good example that you can understand on how that actually works from start to finish. So, all right. And Mike, thanks again. I think it was a rebranding. So yeah, I think you're right. It was Scientific Games, and they did Light and Wonder after they brought everybody in. So very true. All right, Andrew McFadden says, is electronic roulette actually random or does it RNG determine outcome? So in Nevada, and in probably most states, but it's specifically said in Nevada, all video, they call them, I think, video VLT, no, not VLTs, VETs, video electronic table games. Those have to play out exactly the same way that the table equivalent does. So to answer your question, if you're playing electronic roulette, the number that is picked is completely random. There is no RNG that is deciding which number it needs to land on to stay within some kind of payback percentage. That cannot happen in the state of Nevada. That's the same for blackjack. That's the same for craps, for roulette. I can't think of any, video poker. The RNG does not control how the cards are shuffled or how the ball lands or how the dice are laid down or anything like that. Where the RNG comes into play is when it's trying to work against the game payback percentage. So they still have game payback percentages, but the way it works is that they pay back different things on different amounts. So let's take electronic roulette, for example. If you were to play regular roulette on a table and you did just a straight up number, it pays 36 to 1. On electronic roulette, if they have the game percentage set a little lower, they can actually pay out less than that. I saw some at Aria, for example, that were paying 32 to 1 instead of 36 to 1. So you got to look. You got to look and make sure that the odds of those or the payback for those actual wins are not less than what you're used to on the table game. The way they handle it with blackjack, for example, is that they will restrict you on certain things that you're able to do. Like you're only able to split once, or you can only split if it's an ace showing or two aces showing. You can only double down if, an ace is showing. There's weird rules, and that's how they can control the payback percentage of those machines by reducing what the capabilities are compared to those table game equivalents. So my advice to you on roulette, electronic roulette, craps, video poker and all that is look at the pay table and see if those values are different. If they are, and they're much lower than what you would find at a table game, that means the payback percentage of that machine is lower. So that's a good thing for you to look at. You don't want to get paid 32 to 1 on a straight up win. You want to get paid 36 to 1. So look for that. That's how they control it. All right. Let's see. Kevin's right. No dragons allowed. Amen, brother. Oh, hey, Brent. I have not forgotten about you. I've been, like I said, I know you sent me an email. I got through most of them today, but I'm sitting on yours still. I need to reach out to him to see if he still has it. But thanks for reminding me tonight. I'll take care of that first thing tomorrow for you. Do me a favor, bump the email just so it sits at the top of my inbox, because as you can imagine, it's crazy right now. So, and Vegas Slot Couples here. Great meeting you guys at COD MGM. Thank you. We had an amazing time. So thank you for coming out for sure. You were right. After hitting those 6 hand pays, we went back to Aria, Cosmo, and Park and couldn't hit anything. Some days good, some days not. Yeah, and that's the way it works. I mean, it's hard leaving with your money. I mean, that's probably why gambling is such a problem for a lot of people. Is because you win. You think you can just keep winning, and it's just your timing's just not right. It's not because they changed anything while you were gone. It's just you have to calm down. If you get a big win, you have to go do something else and not get caught up in putting it all back, because it's pretty easy to do that. So, Vegas was not built on winners. Just keep that in mind. The best luck next time, for sure. And GB Commander Fox says, so they actually let people play the slot machines at G2E. Yes, absolutely. And in fact, we were able to control the outcomes. So you'd be able to see what different combinations you could force the bonus to play and things like that, which is nice. That's what I got the most kick out of, seeing the highest win, progressive wins, and all that kind of stuff. But that way you can force a bonus and see what the bonus plays like and things like that. So it was a lot of fun. Yeah, like Gambler Globe says, basically demo mode. All right. Michael Colorado Gambler, what's up, man? I still watch your channel. I'm still there. Don't worry. He does scratch-off tickets in Colorado, so. All right. And Bullion Bear says Slots Unlimited sells stands too. Yes, and they sell the stands with the holes already drilled in the top because they're right from casinos. But they run out of them often. So if they do have them, try to get them as fast as you can. And Kevin says, yeah, try looking for slot machines stand on Craigslist. Yeah, or look for furniture. I mean, furniture works great too. Just make sure it's solid wood. That's going to make a big difference in what you're able to do, because these machines, like I said, are heavy. And anything that's not solid wood, like that particle board, you put the machine on it, it's just going to collapse. So, all right, you don't want that. All right, and Phil Spencer says, on link machines, is the outcome amount of a bonus predetermined when the original winning spin is? No, on link machines, during bonus rounds, when it's like the free games bonus, it's each individual spin is a separate event, so it doesn't know what the total is going to be until the end. That is not true for every game, though, and that's very important to realize that not all bonuses play out like that. But for the Lightning Link games, the free spin bonus, yes, it's not predetermined. It's just like getting, 6 free spins or whatever it is, with the big one in the middle. It's not predetermined. All right. Yeah, EJ laughs a lot. Roulette cracks me up as you can get a pad to keep track of the numbers, called as if it is any help to know what came before. And you know what? They have those digital displays that tell you everything about the history. It's pointless. It feeds into the psyche. You think that there's something to it. Gosh, there's been 6 reds in a row. The next one has to be black. It probably should be black, but that doesn't mean that the odds are different. It's not. It's the same every single time. And the way that I always try to equate this to something is, you could take a quarter, and everybody knows that the odds of hitting heads or tails when you flip a coin is 50%, right? Well, do it 10 times and see if you get 5 out of 10. And then do it another 10 times and see if you get 5 out of 10. And do it another time and see if you get 5 out of 10. I can almost guarantee you will not get 5 out of 10 every single time. Maybe you'll get 3 heads and 7 tails, and maybe you'll get 7 tails and 3 heads, or you could get something crazy like 9 tails and 1 head. It could happen. But the law of averages says that over the long time of doing that a million times, or even more than that, it's going to balance out to 50%. But in the short term, it's not. And so, it's the same way with the roulette table. It's not 50-50 on red or black, because you have the greens, the 00 and the single 0, and sometimes the 000. So it's a little bit less than 50%. But overall, it is around that, after millions and millions of attempts on that wheel. But don't get caught up in the short term, because it doesn't mean anything to you. Oh, and Mike's right for blackjack. They reduced the payoff of a blackjack 6-5, and they're even doing that on table games now. They're trying to take over. Used to be 6-5 was only on single deck blackjack, but now they're doing it for 6-deck shoe blackjack. They're doing 6-5, which just means that what that means is that if you do get blackjack, you get paid less because it's less than 3-2, and so they're kind of getting away with that. That's a way to get more for the house. And James Simmons says, question, are slot machines ever due for jackpot? Yes or no? Absolutely not. Never do. There is only one exception to this, and that is must-hit progressives. If a must-hit progressive, and it has to say it on the screen, Ainsworth games are notorious for having must-hit progressives. If the number that the progressive is at is very close to the must-hit by, then it is due for a jackpot. It's due to hit that progressive very soon. But that is the only exception to the rule. A machine can go a very long time without hitting a jackpot. And it doesn't mean that it's due because of time of day or how much money has been put in or anything like that. Nothing is due. All right, let's see. And Harold says, hey, if you come across a Mr. Cashman slot machine, it'd be interesting in purchasing that. I need to look that one up too, because that sounds familiar. Where have I seen this before? Oh, yes. These are actually a little bit easier to come by. I think these are Ainsworth machines. I haven't seen one personally, but Slot Machines Unlimited might have them. So definitely check them out. All right. And Bob Stank says, Vegas education. Nice guy, by the way. I met him in Vegas, and we've done some stuff together. Explaining RTP percentage over thousands of cycles. It shows the bell curve of the percentages and explains what is happening over time. Yeah, good video, and I'll be putting one out too, just to make it a little bit simpler. But a good explanation. We're all trying to explain the same thing. We're just trying to take different routes on how to do it so that everybody kind of understands what's going. So. And Richard Chu says, hey, great to see you, doing a great job. Thank you, Richard. I appreciate it. All right, let's see. Thank you, everybody, for coming tonight. Really appreciate it. And Mike says he's seen 13 reds in a row in roulette before. But see, would that make you go bet black for the 14th? Maybe. And Red Wolf 853 says, I was in Vegas one time and 21 hit 5 times in a row. For you or for the dealer? That's the catch, right? And Leaf Sky says, hi, Mark. How does the RNG work for video Kino games? So I don't know a whole lot about Kino. I will be the first to admit. But essentially what Kino is just like playing the lottery. It just happens very frequently. It's the same type of idea. There's usually, 80 or so balls that you have to pick from, and you get to pick 6 or 9. I don't know. Again, I am not an expert on Kino, but it just randomly picks those numbers, and that's about it. I don't think there's any payback percentage or anything set on Kino machines, but again, I'm not really sure, so don't quote me on that. We're still trying to dig up some information on that. We don't want to speculate. We want to actually talk to somebody who is either programmed a Kino machine or understands how it's programmed. All right. And Denise, what's going on? If I have free games, is the turnout same if I don't touch a button? Yes. Yeah. Again, you cannot manipulate a slot machine. Just keep that in mind. And Cashman is aristocrat, right? It looked like an Ainsworth machine, but you're right. It's aristocrat. And we are not fans of aristocrat. I was on a question and the thing jumped. Hold on a second. Let's see. All right, Stephen Gifford says, anything on auto spin devices? So This is something that the casino or the slot manufacturers have tried to put out before. They do have auto spin for video, like online casino games, but they have yet to really put those into practice inside of casinos. And I'm not really sure why they would do it on online casinos, like legitimate online casinos like Caesars or wherever, but not do it inside. I think auto spin is a pretty dangerous thing. I would not want to automatically enable that because I think you need to be control over pressing the button. And it's something that I hope doesn't take on, because I think people will get into more trouble with that, especially when people are like looking at their phones and stuff like that. Do you really, I mean, yeah, do you really want to be playing a slot machine while just looking at your phone and just have it spin on your behalf? I mean, it's kind of taking all the excitement out of it, right? And you're playing slot machines to have fun. So anyway, that's my personal opinion on it. But I did see once, I guess probably 3 or 4 years ago, I saw somebody at a slot machine in where was it? Mandalay Bay, and they had a handhold device that was like attached to the side of the machine that you could hold and push the button just by holding it in your hand. But that didn't last long. That was the only time I've ever seen that. So, and Turd Ferguson says, my grandma-in-law always asked to take me to take her to the casino. Which machine would you tell your grandma to play? Double Diamond. That's a good grandma game. Or Sizzling Sevens, Triple Diamond, Triple Stars, Red, White, and Blue, spinning reel games. Those are the ones I would play. Let's see. Shout out to Michael doing the math for the question earlier about what are the odds of consecutive twos at craps. So Michael is a math guy. I will tell you that. It's great because in Colorado, he breaks, anytime new tickets come out, he will break down the math completely, so you know what you're getting into. So, all right, let's see what else we got here. And we got about 9 minutes left. Guys, I didn't think we were going to last the whole hours, but thank you very much for your questions. I really appreciate it. I hope you guys are enjoying yourselves. All right. Jonathan Kin says, do you ever come by any IGT slant top 3-reel machines? I think you're talking about the sit down slant top type. No, and there's a very big reason why those do not come across is because they're big, they're clunky, they're expensive to ship, and the slimline like these are a lot easier to ship. You can get more on a pallet. It's cheaper to ship, and so most of those were destroyed for that reason. Those are the ones that I typically see on Craigslist, believe it or not. Because nobody wants to move those. So, all right, let's see. And PJ says, any luck hitting 1,000 times 2 on my top dollar? No, I have hit 1,000. That happened about 2 weeks ago, but I've not hit the times 2 yet. That is a very hard one indeed. So James Simmons says, is the reason that the numbers on a roulette wheel are not in normal sequence is to make it as difficult as possible for a player to detect any bias? That's a good question. I don't know what the history of that is. I mean, the roulette wheel has been around for ages, and I'm not really sure why they decided to do it that way, but I would suspect it's to make it feel like it's more random because the values aren't sequential around the wheel, but that's just a guess. That makes me kind of want to look it up tonight. That's a very good question. All right, let's see. And PJ says, how rare is it to hit the 1,000 times 3 on Top Dollar Deluxe? Well, the first thing you have to do is get the bonus with the times 3 multiplier. The times 3 multiplier has an 8.3% chance of landing on that fourth reel, so you have to get that first. But I will tell you that even with the 1 times and the 2 times multipliers, I never got the 1,000 to light up, and I owned that game for probably 6 to 7 months. Never got it. All right. All right, and Vista Barman cases. I have a Igame Plus with neon lights software. I'm looking for a Welcome to Las Vegas topper that comes with the machine. Oh man, toppers are hard, guys. Toppers are hard to find. A lot of people never ship machines with toppers anymore because they always break off. This Double Diamond Deluxe with cheese over here, I was very lucky to have the topper with that one. But I'm having a hard time finding any toppers these days. But I will say that is another Craigslist item. I've found a lot on Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace. I've found some toppers. But again, it's a needle in a haystack. There's no one website you can go to find this kind of stuff. It's just hoping it got out of a casino and somebody got it. So I didn't know this. So Mike says, add up all the numbers on the roulette wheel and it equals 666. That's too funny. I want to say I've heard that before, but not in a long time. And Peggy says, what is the most common thing you have to repair on a slot machine? Oh, man. I think the thing that I have the biggest problems with are the bill validators, which are, again, the things that are rare. Those seem to have more problems than anything else, especially the MEI cash flows. Those are the yellow ones. But it's really all over the map. And that's why I really like slot machine repairs, because not every repair is the same. Like I said earlier, this one with the board, I mean, I could still be trying to figure out what's wrong with this one, but I just happen to think maybe I should check the pins. And guys, these are so small. I don't know if you can see. They're so small. And there's just that one right there that is bent over like this. And that is enough to make the whole machine not work correctly. It's very, very inconsistent on what happens. And so that one little thing can cause a problem. So that's part of the fun, though. It's diagnostic in nature. It's just like, troubleshooting PCs and back in the day, computers, just trying to isolate, trying to find one thing from another. And that's where parts help, is to isolate. If I think it's the bill validator, well, I'll put another one in there and see if it is or not, and that confirms it. So, and Kimmer 01 says, might be a crazy question, but do slots pay out as often in the smoking sections? Yeah, I mean, they set most casinos, and we don't know for sure, but most casinos set the same payback percentages for denominations, for the same denomination casino wide. There are some exceptions. I've talked to some casino employees that have said that the high limit rooms typically have the highest payback percentages, even for the lower denomination machines inside of those rooms. I can't reveal which. I'm not going to talk about who it is and which casino it is, because that'll validate the trust that I have with him. But he says that's fairly common that they will do that. Because high limit players like consistency. They like to know that it's the same every time they go, and the high limit room is a great place for that. But again, do not go in that room if you don't have the budget to be playing in there. I can't stress that enough. Don't do it. It's very alluring. There's a lot of YouTube videos out there of people playing in those rooms, and it looks very easy and very simple. But the ugly truth to high limit rooms is that you can lose your money very fast, and that's not where you want to be if you're wanting to have a good time. So stay out of there unless your bankroll allows for it. All right. And PJ says, IGT just released their 9-line double top dollar, and it's 10 credits per spin. Yes, and I did a video on that on Cowboy Slots channel. I did a review of it, so go check that out, PJ. All right, and Peggy says, this will be the last question for tonight. So how did you get into repairing slots? I know you are a data cruncher. So yes, I am a tech person. I started out as a kid programming. Around the age of 10 or 11, I started to write computer programs on my Commodore 64. For those of you that are aware of that, it's a long time ago. And I've been a tech person ever since. I've done computer repair, computer builds, networking, just about everything in the IT industry. And I'm also a software developer, a database administrator, a server administrator. I do just about everything. And so I did have this pinball machine behind me, and that kind of got me started in like tinkering with gaming in general. And I always wanted to own my own slot machine. So about maybe 5 years ago, 5, 6 years ago, I looked for a cheap slot machine, and ended up getting two and bringing them back. And the first night I broke both of them because I was doing something I didn't know I was supposed to be doing. And so that kind of started me on the path of learning as much as I can about how these things work. And I talk to a lot of people in the industry. That's how I learned just about everything I have. I talk to current and past employees of IGT that I've become very good acquaintances with over the years. They give me a lot of the information that I then pass on to you guys. I also am a frequent visitor to newlifegames.com, which is a plethora of good information for you if you wanted to get into repairing slot machines. But it's mostly because, and my wife can attest to this, that anything that I end up tackling, I just kind of learn as much as I possibly can until I can't learn anything else. And then I move on to something else. But there's still more to learn in this industry, and I still enjoy the collection of these machines and talking to you guys. It's been amazing. I've really appreciated it. And the reason I started the YouTube channel again was because when I was repairing machines, I kept doing YouTube searches for how to fix these certain problems with machines, and there just wasn't any out there. I was like, well, let me just throw a camera on it and see what happens. And here we are today. So, and I'll answer a couple more questions here. So Vista Bar Mankay says, is it fairly easy to convert a CRT monitor to an LCD on an iGame Plus? Yes, it is. I have never done it, I will tell you that, but I know a lot of people that have. Go to newlifegames.com and look in the iGame subforum and search for LCD conversion. And I believe there is a good topic in there that will tell you everything that you need to do. So, all right. And I think we will wrap it up here. And Peggy says, my first computer was a Commodore 64. Yep, mine too. Loved it. And James says, very educational. Awesome. Or thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it. All right, so let's wrap it up there. Gamble the Globe and Tammy, thank you so much for moderating tonight. Always appreciate you guys. And make sure you guys stay tuned on the Cowboy Slots channel. We're posting another game review tomorrow. This is a new series that we're working on. We're going to sit down and play games and give us our review of it. Everything from the sight and sound, how exciting it is, the volatility of it, your chances of winning, whether it has a progressive or not, should you chase a progressive or not, all those types of things. It's something that we're going to be really hitting hard coming soon, so you guys can get better educated with the this type of slot machines that are out there, the news and the olds, all of them. We're going to cover all of them. So when those things land, if you want to put in the comments over there which machines that you want us to review next, feel free to do that. And we'll certainly accommodate the best we can. Now, we have to be at a casino, obviously. There's only so many games I have here that I can review. But we'll get it all queued up for the next visit to a casino and get those out for you guys. All right, guys, thanks so much. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week, and we will see you on the Sunday show. And take care. All right, bye-bye.